Hey guys, Nick here, and today we will be seeing how the rest of this particular story will go now that Alpha and the Whisperers have been dealt with, and with so many changes in the story, and with a good few good characters dying in the last part. This is part 12 to What If Negan Killed Maggie, the remake. Now, when I said good characters, Glenn being a key factor in one of them, surviving longer than many of my other stories and playing a crucial part in ending Beta's surprise return and the Whisperers as a whole. But his sacrifice was not in vain, and him, along with several others, died in the last part. Now, I will be covering the rest of Season 10 going into Season 11 in this episode. Now, with the whole Virgil thing, Rick being around, like I've discussed in other stories, if he figured something was up with Virgil, he just ended him. So that's a small part of the story. Now, with Dante still being a threat, unbeknownst to anyone, Carl being around with Sadiq, I feel, like a few of my other stories, it wouldn't even be that big a deal. Plus the fact that since the Whisperers were gone, Dante wouldn't really be a big deal anyway. Now with Sasha, if you guys did not already know, I had her and Glenn actually get into a relationship before the whole Whisperer thing, and unbeknownst to anyone at the time, she was pregnant with Glenn's second baby. And as much as I would like to rename him Herschel again, I feel that with Sasha being the mother this time and Glenn dying, I'm going to go with the fact that the baby would be named either Glenn or Glenn Jr. I'm going to go with Glenn Jr. just to... It's pretty much a monument to Glenn, and as much as Herschel wasn't called Herschel Jr., I just feel like Glenn Jr. would be more accurate. But anyways, then we get the whole confusing Rosita, Gabriel, and Sadiq thing, except it's happening a season later. Because Spencer's dead, so Rosita doesn't really have anyone. Then we get the whole meeting princess thing and then the entrance to the Commonwealth, which would play out the same way, except Ezekiel is still in his king state because besides Shiva, he hasn't lost anybody. Oh, and Henry. But he still has Benjamin and pretty much all the kingdom, so he's not like full king, but he's king enough to the degree in which he hasn't lost it outright. So, yeah. Anyway, the Wardens, without Maggie and Herschel being around, they would end up, like a few of my other stories, getting killed by the Reapers. So, pretty sad, but that's just how it would go, because Maggie pretty much played a crucial part in keeping them alive. So, yeah. Then we get the whole Aaron and Gabriel solo episode, but this time they are accompanied by Jesus. And I think I've done this in a few of my other stories, but to reiterate, Maze, I feel, would get spared here, especially with Jesus around. But as for his brother, there are just some characters that are just a lost cause, and Maze's brother is one of them. So, as much as I'd like to say he lives, it's just, no. Also, a nice little plot here, Tara and Cindy actually get together long-term, because Denise was dead even before the story started, and Olivia's dead, so... And with Tara and Cindy being around, and Tara being alive, I feel would happen. Now, the whole subway tunnel scene doesn't happen, because the Savior's damage to the communities was very tame in this story, among others. But the Reapers are still going to show up. But because Maggie and the Wardens are not a threat to the Reapers and not anywhere, because the Wardens would be dead and Maggie's dead, that means that even though I'd like to say the Reapers don't become a threat here, I feel that Pope would eventually figure out about the communities and know about them, and know that the people there would get in his way, his vision about God and everything else. So he would eventually set up the Hawacha to destroy the communities, or at least the main buildings of all the communities. It would take time to figure it out, but I think Pope would take this time to ensure his vision. And if you don't think that this was what Pope would do, you gotta take a dive into his character to know what he would do. And it's what if. So, yeah. So, the Hawacha would be targeted for the main building at Alexandria, Hilltop, Kingdom, and Oceanside. And when the bombs go off, as much as Pope would like to think that the explosions would destroy the people there and bring walkers to them, whoever's in there is injured, but not killed. And Rick, seeing this as an immediate threat, knows that they gotta get the strongest people they have and find the people that just did this. So, the group would be this. Rick, Michonne, obviously, since she's around. Carl, having one eye, not due to Dante this time, but because he already had it. Negan, with the bat that Brandon gave him, not his original Lucille. Daryl, of course, would be going along, because Daryl. Carol would actually be fighting the Reapers this time around, like my other story. Morgan, with an axe sort of like the one he got from Emil, but it couldn't be that because he's been around, so Fear the Walking Dead would be no. And here's something interesting. Lydia and Benjamin getting together. Because I feel that this would happen, because I feel that Lydia would see this person, Benjamin, as the closest thing she had with Henry. And since it was his brother, I feel that Benjamin would also like Lydia. I just feel that the pair would be good, but it would take time for them to actually get together because Lydia would be mourning Henry. Enid, I feel, would also be going along, accompanying Carl, because she's still around. Now, as much as I want to say that Sasha would be going instantly, there are a few things that stop that. And by a few, I mean a lot. For one thing, she has just got done birthing Glenn Jr., and of course, has to raise him alone. And Sasha has to stew on a lot. Has to stew with the death of Bob, Tyrese, Abraham, Glenn. Too many deaths that Sasha has had to deal with, and she's still around. Feels like a curse, which really hurts her on whether to go with everybody or not. But seeing how people like Judith and Gracie have grown up and everything, and them even volunteering to take care of baby Glenn Jr., I feel that this in turn would motivate her, but it would take a little bit of time. But time was definitely not something that they had on their side, especially with all the explosions. So I feel this would all in turn motivate Sasha once again to pick up her favorite sniper and make her join the group. So, there you go, Sasha's part of the group. Aaron would actually be fighting the Reapers this time around. And Gabriel, since he's around, would be coming along, and he would go like his canon counterpart. Jesus being around, I feel, would go too. And even though I've never really had Maze matter before, I'll say that he goes around this time for story's sake. Tara being alive means that she's going to go along too, and in turn, that means Cindy's going to go along because they're together, because why not? Now, Rosita would be in a similar predicament as to Sasha, but she has less deaths to basically contemplate over. She just has to worry about a baby. And true, she has deaths to try and get over, but not as much as Sasha. But once again, the whole Judith and Gracie thing, that would motivate Rosita. And Siddiq, in turn, would say that he would take care of Coco and everything else. So, with Siddiq especially, this would, double motivate Rosita, and she would be part of the team to fight the Reapers. So far we have a much better team to fight the Reapers. Alden, I feel, would go along just for consistency's sake and because he would want to help. Because Alden was a really helpful person when it came to it. Regina would go because she's still around wanting to prove herself. Now, since Connie is still around because we never had to deal with the whole finding the Horde thing and her and Magna getting trapped in the cave and everything, I feel that she would go too, accompanied by Daryl. And this means that her and Daryl would actually get way more time together. So that would in turn make their relationship delve much deeper. Now, Pope was not expecting these people to be alive still, or any people to be alive, and expecting Walker just to swarm the communities after the explosions, but he knows that God will aid his people into killing these people in turn. So he's not worried, but we all know how crazy Pope was. Now, even though this is a similar situation about how we get into the Reaper saga from my last remake, there's been some differences, not just characters, but how the Reapers approach the group. But how will the fight go? Do you think that the Reapers will be dealt with as good as they were before? Or do you think that this is how Rick's story, along with everyone else's, will end? And that's where we leave things for the moment. Now, with all this said, we are getting into the finale next time of this particular remake. And we are also getting into the next story, which will be after the finale. What if Sophia joined Negan? But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.